Hello, time for a quick update on the GT project. This is my BMW Z3 1997 Japanese import, completely rust-free, that I'm EV swapping. And before you complain, it was only a 1.9 and an automatic, so did you really want it? Anyway, it's going to be a lot more fun when I'm done. So this is my Lexus IS300H eCVT gearbox, basically two fat electric motors, and this is my mounting plate which is going on. So I've used what are they called, transfer punch from the back basically. So got one bolt in by sort of measuring it, wiggling it, getting a pen through and getting the hole almost right. Got it all lined up, transfer punch through, and I've now got my 4 big M12 bolts. I've got 3 M10s still to go into the bottom. Just need to ream those holes out to the right size, and then this can go back in. And I've got a gearbox mount I'll show you as well, which just needs some slight modification. And then once it's in, I can weld in some arms to hold it all together. Right, I'm about to put the rear mount back in. I thought I'd show you this first. Quite pleased with the welds on this. It's not fully welded out yet. I need to come back and do these, but it's enough for testing. And obviously around the corners I might slice a bit just to make it neat here to match this side, and then paint it, powder coat it something. But you'll notice that I've slotted these holes quite significantly, because as I had it, the measurements were just fractionally out, only about 3-4 millimeters out, but it was putting some tension on the rubber mount. So I've slotted them for now, but the bolts on the bottom of the studs on the bottom of the rubber mount are quite long, and they've got a shank on them which is about just too thick or too long for the bolts to go up here. So what I figured is I'd cut another 6mm piece out with the hole spacing exactly right and the holes drilled with the perfect tolerance. Put that over here. Once it's all perfectly lined up, weld that on. So we've got a bit of extra thickness here. We've got perfectly lined up holes, and then backfill these slots with a bit of weld and drill them out again using the new pieces welded to the bottom as a template. And then we've got nice strength, nice accurate holes, and no unnecessary pressure on the rubber mount. There's our rear mount in and bolted up. I might put some, if you watch the road trip video, you'll see Damien's had some strengthening in this axis, which seems like a good idea. I might add some of that, particularly at this junction here. That would be a good idea to further support that junction, even with the additional welds, because this thing is going to want to move around quite a lot with all the torque it has. Need to jack the side of the motor up slightly just to align it fully. This is all bolted down, but it's wanting to, the motor's wanting to lean that way a little bit at the moment. Not a lot, just a degree or two. Minor correction needed before I start welding. So this is now straight. The distance between each hole and each mount is equal. It doesn't actually leave the top line lining up perfectly with the chassis, which you're never going to see, but I'm going to correct anyway. Next time I have this off, I'm just going to take about 0.5 millimeter off there and redo this corner. We'll actually bring these 2 bolts visually into line as well. It's a little thing, but I want this car to be cool. Next job is to open out these holes a little bit, because you can't quite bring these tubes wide enough. These mounts should sit basically straight or as close to the chassis as possible, and in order to maximize room for the battery pack here, at the moment the tubes only go, well, need to come out about another 2 inches, 6 centimeters, whatever, in order to fit. So trusty finger sander to the rescue. We can clean things up. For anyone who was hoping for a video of my hole getting reamed out, I'm apologising now. This is not that kind of channel. But it didn't take a lot of relieving in order to get that all nicely lined up. So a bit of cleanup around there, and that's now ready for tacking together. Just need to do the same on the other side. There we go. Still need to clean up so I can tack it in, and I'm actually going to take this piece of heat shield out because this is bumping up against it. I want to angle it slightly more that way. Obviously this one's the awkward one, clearing the steering, but overall pretty happy with that. I will say again, for the sake of the comments, there's going to be a lot of bracing once the battery box is measured up and tested. Well, it's all measured up, but once we show exactly where it's going to come to on the inverter, etc., then we can build in a load of extra bracing. Probably something straight across, definitely some verticals, maybe something below, and maybe something on the back side as well. In fact, almost certainly some on the back side as well, so that we're strengthening that plate, we're strengthening these tubes, and obviously we'll want nice strong welds at the mounting point ends as well. But overall I'm quite happy with the design. Will it stand up to the torque of the L210? Who knows? Times like this, I wish I had a nice little inverter welder for jobs like this. So the gas is around the front now. Note the big, nice higher gauge, well, technically lower gauge I guess, but anyway, thick wire extension lead, a present from Damien on our little road trip. Got my gas, got my welder set up, got a nice clean earth for the clamp, got these bolted down nice and tight so they don't move around too much, and time to start welding. I mean, tack is a loose term. I'll probably burn this in quite a lot actually. I don't want to put too much heat in around the rubber mount, so I'll be a little bit cautious around there. But I want to make sure it's nice and stiff, partly because this is now going to take the weight of the motor. So we'll take the transmission jack out so we can fix this bloody thing, and partly because when I do take it off I don't want things to move, I want it to be nice and stiff. So time to start welding. Not the prettiest welding. Had to get in some very uncomfortable positions to get that, particularly underneath, trying to get some around the back and underneath the two mounts, but I'm pretty confident it's going to hold for now. Obviously, again, I'll reiterate, it's all going to come off, it's all going to get cleaned up, it's all going to get braced. But I think I should now be able to remove the transmission jack. I guess we'll find out. That was not easy. I decided that the spider can wait till tomorrow. I'll get the transmission jack out then again. I'm quite enjoying fabricating, or I was. I thought I'll just pull the mounting plate out and just put some more welds on. Don't want to risk it cracking and damaging anything. Won't take long. Suffice to say, I've not exactly nailed serviceability. Because the motor hooks into the back of here, and this thing is both heavy and tight in the bay, detaching it enough from the motor to get the because the motor's tight in the transmission tunnel as well, there's room for it to rock around a bit, but not a lot. Getting this out requires a sort of drop the motor a bit. Well, first of all, take the prop shaft off, drop the motor a bit, shove it back a little bit, wiggle this a bit, drop the motor a bit, push it back a bit, wiggle this a bit, and then eventually lever it out. And you can see I've taken bits of the under seal off. There's some bare metal on both sides where it's scratched coming out. So I think I'm probably going to relieve these a little bit. I mean, it does work, it does come out. It's not impossible, but it isn't fun. That will do for today. One jack, out ready for tomorrow's tasks. One motor in, with some additional welding to keep it nice and strong. And now I can start to think about the battery box. That's it for this one. It's a nice evening. I'm going to go and have a gin and tonic. And I'm going to sleep really well tonight because that was freaking knackering. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.